Okay, continuing on. So this is it says a threshing floor is a flat outdoor surface, often circular, used for separating grain from straw in ancient times. So it's used for what? Separating. Okay, and I gave like a quick, definition of that as far as Matthew, the 25th chapter. All right, as far as what separating. Let's skip down just a tad bit. It said while threshing floors were common in ancient times, modern agriculture has largely replaced them with machines. Skip that. Let's see what it's gonna give us. Yep. So that's pretty much the point. But as far as it is going into threshing is going to being separate. All right. So let's go back. So it said, "This is what the Yahweh of heaven armies, the power of Israel, says: Babylon is like wheat on a threshing floor, about to be trampled. In just a little while, her harvest will begin." So a harvest will begin, and like I was saying, you want to be on the right side of the harvest that's getting ready to, that's getting ready to come. Okay. So let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 14. We're gonna skip down, and that'll be pretty much it. So let's verse 14. Let's start 13. And it says, "And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the outer one from henceforth. Yea, he said to the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them." NLT. "And I heard a voice from heaven saying, Write this down." And this is Apostle John that's doing the writing on the island of Patmos. He receiving spiritual visions. "Blessed are those who die in the outer one from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, they are blessed indeed, for they will rest from their hard work, for their good deeds follow them." Speaking about the elect. Okay. "And I looked at, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man." It's talking about Yahweh Shai coming on that great chariot. In modern day terms, they would call it a fighter ship, or they say UFO or a UAP. But we understand that these are the chariots or vehicles of Yahweh Shai and the angels. "And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle." And it's used for what? Harvesting. Okay. "And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle." And this talking about him that sat on the cloud, talking about Yahweh Shai. "Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe." Okay. Now it's time for ultimately for Yahweh to allow Yahweh Shai to tear up this place, man. Okay. To uproot the evil, all right, in the wicked empire, which is known as Babylon the Great, aka America, the great whore. All right. To uproot that and plant the righteous. Okay. So Yahweh Shai, King David, as it says, throne of David. "Then another angel from the temple and shouted to the one sitting on the clouds," the angels, telling Yahweh Shai, "Swing the sickle, for the time of harvest has come. The crop on earth is ripe." Okay, because now, wickedness, as it says, have exceedingly polluted this place. All right, all the wicked works is now fulfilled. Now it's time to go to the next phase. When you go to that word phase, it goes to a period. Okay, now this period of time, this world is pretty much done. Okay. So when it says it's ripe, now it's time for the next phase, which would be the new rulers. Okay, that new goes to what? Refreshing. "And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle, and on the earth, and the earth was reaped it." To the NLT, "To the one sitting on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the whole earth was harvested." "And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar which had power over fire, and cried with a loud voice, and cried with a loud cry, Salakia, to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. All right. Now I've got to read that in NLT. Another angel who had power to destroy with fire came from the altar. He shouted to the angel with the sharp sickle, swing your sickle now to gather the clusters of grapes from the vines of the earth, for they are ripe for judgment. All right, now it's time for what? Judgment time. Okay, and like I've been saying throughout this this lesson, when you harvest something, that's pretty much you reaping what you have sown, right? You reap what you sow. You hear a lot of Jake say that, hey, you reap what you sow, but you can see through their actions that they don't take heed to what they are saying. They just talking. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Adonai Yahweh. So the angel swung his sickle over the earth and loaded the grapes into the great winepress of Adonai Yahweh's wrath. Right? Talking about what that judgment. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress even unto the horses' bridles by the space of 1,600 furlongs. The grapes were trampled in the winepress outside the city, and blood flowed from the winepress in a stream about 180 miles long and high as a horse's bridle. Okay, and in the scriptures it says that what in the book of Ezekiel, matter of fact, I'll go ahead and grab it, that gonna seek out men of continual employment. There are gonna be so many dead bodies from this war to end all wars, that the heathen that are left are going to have a job as far as burying those bodies, man. Because even before even before the missiles get shot off, we're gonna have what? Race riots, Jacob trouble. So it's gonna get very hectic out here. So let me grab this real swift and I'm gonna close it out. Salakia, let's see, bear me 1 second. Should be all right. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 39. I'm thinking of another one. Ezekiel 39, and let's go straight to the point. Start at verse 12, verse 14. That's pretty much the point there, and then that'll be pretty much it. And 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them. Now, when you see 7, that just mean a complete, complete time, or not complete time. And 7 months shall be 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. All right, and the land that will be cleansed right here is speaking about the land of Israel, because that land is also is going to catch judgment as well. All right, it's going to be America and Israel that going to catch judgment, but Israel itself will be rebuilt back again. And no, Israel, right? Speaking about the elect first, not going to be bearing anything. You're going to have once again those servants, right? And the ones that was able to escape. They are the ones that's going to be doing the bearing. All right, they are the ones going to be the handmaids, and so on, because it says, gotta grab it, I want to butcher it, in the book of Psalms, should be 149, that the first ones that go into slavery are their kings. So you got your Rothschilds, and your different bankers, and your presidents, and your most prominent Edomites and heathens as well. They're gonna be what? The first ones to go in slavery. That's how the Most High get down. All right, them that are first gonna be last, and last gonna be first. Very plain. So Psalms 149 and start verse 6. Let the praises of Adonai Yahweh be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people. And that's literal. All right, because we're gonna have to get these heathens in line. Okay, they actually gonna get their heads beat in, man. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people, and this is all in righteousness. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. That's literal. To execute upon them the judgment written. All right, this is already written. His honor have all his saints praise you, the Yahweh. All right, and the saints are them that made a covenant with him by the way of sacrifice, and of only speaking about the nation of Israel. So their kings are going to be the first ones that go into slavery, which is beautiful. Okay, you can't make this up, man. All right, you was living good, never worked never worked a 9-to-5 job in your life, and then to go from never working and just always stealing and always oppressing to being the ones that are doing, you know, the heavy lifting and being out there in the field and being now the slave. That's beautiful, right? So let's read this. Verse 14 is the point. Verse 13, yea, and all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renowned the day that I shall be glorified, said Yahweh. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth to cleanse it. Even after the end of 7 months shall they search. After 7 months, teams of men will be appointed to search the land for skeletons to bury. And these, once again, will be, you know, the heathens, the leftover heathens. You know, a lot of these, once again, prominent Edomites. I've got the name. I've got a guy's name that the founder of Facebook. A lot of you guys got, you know, bunkers and all of that. And, you know, the Most High is going to allow a lot of these prominent people, all right, these prominent heathens to pretty much get away, ultimately to be the first ones to go into slavery. Okay, so this is going to be their jobs right here. And after 7 months, teams of men will be appointed to search the land for skeletons to bury, so the land will be made clean again. Okay, so you're going to have, you know, a lot of dead bodies, man. And the reason, and what brought me here was Revelation 14 at the very last verse, right? NLT. The grapes were trampled in the winepress outside the city, and blood flowed from the winepress, and a stream about 180 miles long and as high as a horse bridle. Okay, because you know, we're gonna have a lot of you know, dead bodies, man. And the Most High is coming to do, you know, great damage to Babylon the Great, aka America, and also to cleanse the land of Israel as well. All right. So and as it says, you know, he come with diagrams from Basra. When we go to the book of Isaiah, should be 63. Read that one verse, right? Isaiah 63 and verse 1. And this has not happened yet. So when, you know, you got people that say the Edomites are done away with, which is, you know, they don't understand what's going on. But when had this taken place? Who would this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. All right, come and do mass damage, okay, to these prominent Edomites. All right, and you know, and Edom as a whole. But you're gonna start off with what their kings first, okay. It said, wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treaded in the wine fat? I have trodden the wine press alone of the people, there was none with me, for I would tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my remain. And this not literal blood on the Most High. It is, you know, speaking about the fact that it's going to be mass judgment, and, you know, a mass slaughtering that, you know, that's pretty much what's going to take place. All these dead bodies, right? For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. Okay, this is all about, you know, revenging. All right, avenging his people. Okay, so, you know, that's pretty much the point. I just want to grab that, you know, Swift and Isaiah 63, just put it more in perspective. So I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raha, Hodash. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel that do labor and teach the truth and sincerity. Shalom to you, Akim. You hope for elect on the highway and hedges, making your body a living sacrifice, according to Romans 12 and verse 1. Shalom to sincere believers, which consist of men and women. Shalom, Brakatham, and Abababal.